morning. This is Kasturi De. Now I'm going to continue with the discussion of the chemistry chapter according to ICSE syllabus class 8. The chapter was language of chemistry. Today I'll start with the chemical equations. Okay. So what is a chemical equation? Chemical equation is the symbolic representation of a chemical reaction which is used by symbols and formula of a substances which are involved in the chemical reaction. Okay, so in this chemical reaction, the chemical reactions in a chemical reaction, the substances which are taking part in the reaction, those substances are represented by symbols and formula, and this symbolic representation of this substances which are involved in this reaction is known as a chemical equation, or you can say it is a statement that describes a chemical reaction in the terms of symbols and formula. Okay, now the substances that are used as starting material, the substances which are used as a starting material, which are starting the reaction and they react with each other, or those which take part in the chemical reaction, those substances are known as reactants. Okay, and the substances or substances which are formed as a result of this reaction, after the reaction is taking place, the substance or substances which are formed, they are known as the products. Okay, so a chemical equation that represents a chemical reaction briefly in words, that is known as word equation. For example, see reactants, for example, see this carbon, if you write in words, carbon plus oxygen, that will give us to carbon dioxide in words, total in words. Okay, spelling and with the spelling, so that will be the word equation. Okay, so see the left hand side, the substances which are on the left hand side which are taking part in the reaction, those are known as reactants, and the substances on the right hand side which are produced after the reaction, they are known as products. Okay, so for example, see burning of coal in air is a chemical reaction in which a new substance, carbon dioxide, is formed. So this reaction can be represented by either a word equation or a chemical equation using formula and symbols. Like see carbon plus oxygen, that will require heat to combine to produce carbon dioxide. Okay, and this carbon plus oxygen, that is in the second portion, is that is written in symbols and formulas. So carbon C plus O2, that gives us to CO2. So that will be the symbol representation, that is a chemical equation. So C plus O2, those are reactants, and the product formed is CO2. Next way, how to write a chemical equation. So before writing a chemical equation, it is needed to have a knowledge of certain things. Okay, so what are those? What are those things which we have to know before writing a chemical equation? Whether or not a chemical equation takes place between the reactants, whether it is in the chemical reaction, whether the substances which are acting as a reactant, whether there is a chemical reaction is taking place between the reactants or not. Then what are the product or products which are formed during a chemical reaction? Okay, then what are the correct symbols of the formula of all the reactants and products? Okay, then after knowing all these three things, that is what are the reactants and is there any chemical reaction being taking place in between the reactants, what are the products being formed, and what are the correct symbols and formula of these reactants and products. After knowing all these, we need to write the symbols or formula of the reactants on the left hand side with a plus sign between them if there is more than one reactant. Then it is needed to write the symbols or the formula of the products on the right hand side with a plus sign if there is more than one product formed. Then after that, it is needed to put an arrow in between the reactants and the product. Okay, that is showing that reactants after reaction will lead to product. So that will be the symbol of the arrow, that sign. Okay, see the sign which is written in brackets beside the arrow. Then it is then an atomic equation, that is a skeletal equation, or you can say unbalanced equation. Then the molecular forms of the reactants and the products are represented because the atomic forms are usually neither stable nor capable of independent existence. Okay, so what happens when we write the skeletal equation or unbalanced equation? That is not complete. Okay, so to make that complete, we need to write their molecular forms, because when we are writing the skeletal equation, that is an atomic form. The symbols are in atomic form. So atomic form, the atomic form of symbols, atomic form of this substances, they cannot stay stable or they cannot stay independently. So we need to write in the molecular form. So to write in the molecular form, we need to balance the equation. Okay. For example, so the reaction between hydrogen and chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. Okay. So what equation is hydrogen plus chlorine, that will give us to hydrogen chloride. Now skeletal equation or unbalanced equation is this: H2 plus Cl2 is HCl. Okay, note that H plus Cl we cannot write this way. Okay, so H plus Cl, because H will not exist independently in atomic form. Cl, that is chlorine, that is also will not exist in the atomic form. That will need to be written in molecular form. So to write in the molecular form, we need to balance the equation. So therefore, we write in the balanced equation as H2 plus Cl2 will give us to 2HCl. Okay. Next is the need for balancing a chemical equation. See, a chemical equation needs to be balanced to make the number of atoms of the reactant side should be equal to the number of atoms of the product side. That is to be needed. So to write in the molecular form also, when we write in the molecular form, actually we are not balancing properly. Okay, we are writing in the balance, molecular form of the symbols in the molecular form so that they can exist independently. Now, further that we should see that is reactant side as well as the product side, the number of atoms should be equal. So for that, we need to balance the equation. This is due to the fact that a chemical equation is just a rearrangement of atoms, and the atoms themselves are neither created nor destroyed during the course of chemical reaction, that is law of conservation of mass. Therefore, a balanced equation is the one in which the number of atoms of each element on the reactant side, that is equal to the number of atoms of that element on the product side. Hope you understood. Okay. Next is the significance of the balanced equation. It shows that which substances are taking part in the chemical reaction and what products are obtained as a result of it. That is qualitative. Okay. Qualitative part is that which products are reactants and which products are, which substances are products. Okay, what are the products formed? Then it shows both the number of molecules and the number of atoms of each type involved in the reaction. Each type of substance which are involved in the reaction is shown by the balanced chemical equation. Okay, the number of molecules, the number of atoms. Then it enables us to calculate the actual amount, that is the mass of the reactants and the products involved and formed in the reaction if atomic mass of each of the element involved in the reaction. Okay, so that we can calculate the actual amount of the reactants and the products, that is the mass of the reactants and the products, mass of the products which are involved in this reaction if atomic mass of each element involved in this reaction. Okay, what are the atomic masses of the reactants and atomic mass of the products? So that is the quantitative part. Then it makes the study of chemistry universally standardized. For example, see, 2Ca plus O2, that gives 2CaO. The above chemical equation indicates that calcium reacts with oxygen to form calcium oxide. Now, two monoatomic molecules of calcium combine with one diatomic molecule of oxygen to form two molecules of calcium oxide. Okay, this is indicated by the chemical equation, above chemical equation. See, 2Ca, that means two monoatomic calcium molecule. Okay, two monoatomic molecules of calcium, that is two monoatomic calcium molecules combined with one diatomic molecule of oxygen, and then they produce what? Two molecules of calcium oxide. The atomic mass of calcium is 40 AMU and oxygen is 16 AMU. Now, total mass of calcium taking part in this reaction is 2 into 40, that is 80 units. Oxygen is 16 into 2, that is 32 units. Okay. So, the total mass of the reactants will be 80 plus 32, that is 112 units. And the mass of calcium oxide formed is 2 into 40 plus 16, that is equal to also 112 units. So, see, the reactant side, total mass of reactant side is equal to total mass of the product side. Okay. So, that is the significance of the balanced chemical equation. Okay. Next is how to balance a chemical equation. So, this needs to be explained. I think I'll discuss in my next video. Please go through this. If you have any doubt, please do write in the comment box. And if you have not understood any part of it, please do write. I'll try to explain it once more. Okay. And if you are liking the videos, press the like button, share with your friends so that they can also be benefited from these videos. And do subscribe to get the notification of my next video. Thank you. Thank you for watching and have a good day.